I'm currently doing a little bit of a cleanup in my shelves. I talked about this a little bit in my last video that I thought maybe I'd try to have a year where I don't buy books, or at least if I find free books I'll take them, but I'm trying not to buy that many books. I won't have like a clear number of books I can buy or not buy, but the goal is to read more of the books that I already own. I won't be able to read all of the books I own this year that I haven't read before, so I thought in today's video I'll do a little bit of cleaning and I'll try to find books that I can get rid of. A little bit of an unhaul. And it's a long time since I've done this because it's difficult to get rid of books. So my goal today is to get rid of 10 books. And I already have a couple of books that I've decided to get rid of. So the first one is this. And the reason why I'm getting rid of this is that I read Boyhood by Coetzee earlier, did not enjoy it at all, found it to be incredibly boring, and that's why. The second one is Malibu Rising. I've read 2 books from this author by now, and I'm just giving up. So this is goodbye. Sounds kind of dramatic. And the last one is Rachel Cusk and Kudos. I think this is the 3rd book in this series, and that's why I'm getting rid of it. If I can find the first book in that series, maybe I'll read that one, but I can't just justify having book number 3 hanging around. So that is the 3 books I've decided for so far. So 7 books left. I guess one problem I have getting rid of books is that I have so many books of authors that I haven't read yet, but I have four books of that said author without having tried one of them, which makes sense because I've found them thrifted maybe, or found them for free, and that's why I bought them. I never buy new books from authors I haven't tried before if I already own one copy, so that's sort of the reasoning. But I do have authors like Dostoevsky where I have 4 books. Like these 2 is in the same series as the 2 other ones that I have read. I've read Crime and Punishment and Brothers Karamazov. So I have these 2 that fits in well with the rest if I'm ever going to read them. I have had these for maybe 4 years. So if you could choose, would you get rid of Raskolnikov, The Idiot, Doppelganger, or The Insulted, and don't know the title for the last one here. But if you suggest that I get rid of one of them, just give me a comment in my comment section. I found American Psycho for free, and I have, what should I say? I've watched the movie, so I doubt that I will ever read it, but it's in mint condition, and I haven't read anything from Bret Easton Ellis, so at some point, maybe. This isn't really starting out great. I thought I'd maybe be able to get rid of a book by now. Now I'm sitting here eyeing Gabriel Garcia Marquez' 100 Years of Solitude. I recently tried listening to this again, couldn't, but I have so many friends saying to me that it's worth reading and it only gets better, but I doubt that. Yeah, this is Rocky from Paw Patrol and a rubber duck. This is one of the nice things about cleaning out your shelves. You find stuff that you didn't know existed in your shelves. These are all books that I can imagine that I'll read someday, and I guess that's a bit of my problem. We have Moby Dick, we'll probably never read, or at least never read in English, as my copy is in English. Then it's my Murakami section. You all know that I can't get rid of any of those books. I think I often end up wanting to get rid of the books that doesn't match the rest of them. So in Dostoevsky's case, in his case, the one that sticks out is this one, and then I sort of want to get rid of that because it's uglier than the rest of them. That's how it rolls. I think we'll just move on to the next section because this isn't really going anywhere. Hi and welcome to part 2. I think we'll get somewhere here, or I know we will. The first one is Knut Hamsun and Mysteries. Hopefully the camera will pick this one up. Haven't enjoyed Hamsun so far and probably won't ever. So I'm getting rid of that one. I kept mysteries because a person commented that I should probably read that at some point. Then we have Edvard Hoem and the books about Norwegians traveling to the US to go and live there in the 1800s. I have not yet read any of these, but I have book number 1 and 2, and I thought to myself, this will be the time to get rid of the second book, because if I'll read the first one and I love it, then I can continue looking for the second one again. But well, it's been a while, and the only reason why I've kept both is because they were the similar edition and I bought them for really cheap at the thrift store. So I'm getting rid of the second book. So now we have 5. And then it's something I've been thinking about a lot, and that is that I have 2 editions of For Whom the Bell Tolls. I'll probably never read this edition because it's written in a very old Norwegian. I don't know when this was published. Doesn't really matter. This is an old edition of this book, written in a understandable language, but I don't know if is it supposed to be difficult, more difficult? Also, this looks pretty badass, but is it enough to have it standing here in my shelves? Don't know, so I'll put it in with the rest of them. I found the English version quite recently, and I will honestly say that it's more likely that I'll read this one than the chunky old Norwegian one. I'll keep this here and hope that I'm doing the right thing. Don't mind my excellent cable management. It's the way it has to be, I guess. I forgot to mention that when talking about Edvard Hoem, he is the one that has translated these Norwegian editions of Shakespeare plays, and I absolutely love those translations. So with that, like, I do want to read an Edvard Hoem book at some point for that reason, but we'll see. Here I have my collection of Terry Pratchett books, which I haven't come around to reading yet. Also, when I went to high school, I did like Nick Hornby, so now I have 4 Nick Hornby novels, and I'm unsure if I'll read any of them. I've tried actually listening to the audiobook version of this one, Free Fall. It's called in Norwegian. I don't know if that'll be something. I like his style, so at some point I will probably just embrace it and we'll see. I do find that I have quite a lot of Norwegian classics that I'm afraid of getting rid of because it feels like something I should keep to see what the fuss is all about, but it doesn't feel easy either. I guess this is time to maybe get rid of Arnem's first novel in his series. This is crime fiction, but since I'm promising myself that I'll get rid of books, I think that'll be a good start. It also takes up quite a bit of real estate, so it feels right. I'm probably going to keep on with the Kepler series until the end, and that will be my crime fiction focus, as I've mentioned too many times on this channel, and this will be a great way of, I don't know, just maintain my focus. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. Then it's Margaret Atwood with the something bride. Can't think of the name. I do want to read something from Margaret Atwood, but I don't feel like this is the time. Maybe I'll get too depressed. I think that might be correct. So I'll keep waiting a little bit. Let's see. I guess we have some candidates that could have been gotten rid of. We have Nick Cave's book. I do think that this is going to suck because other people says it sucks, but I'm still giving it a shot because it's Nick Cave. So sometimes we humans are quite predictable. Also here we have Leviathan Wakes by James Corey. I got this from a friend of mine for Christmas 2 or 3 years ago, and I recently tried listening to this on audiobook, but there were too many names that it was hard to keep track on the planets' names and the people's names, so I need to read this. And I do want to try to read more sci-fi. Yeah, I don't know if there's any potential in getting rid of more things there. Well, we'll go to the last section of this journey we're on together. Welcome to the place of my other books. So this is where all my books that I haven't yet read ends up, if they're last in the alphabet. And currently I have a lot of books that I have read which hasn't gotten a place in their respective shelf area. And that means that a lot of books will be heading this way soon. But anyways, here are rest of the books I have lying around. And as I've touched upon earlier, here I have, for example, 3 books by Brynjulf Jungkjønn. I've read one of his books, which I absolutely loved, and stopped there. And which means that I now can't get rid of any of those books before I read another one, and then I can sort of have a closer look. But I'll probably not get rid of the 2 other ones when I finish that one either. Here's also one of my bigger problems, and that is my collection of Brandon Sanderson books. Because I found all the books in the, what's the series called? Stormlight Archives series at once. Found them for free, and now I feel like I can't get rid of them. And I still feel that way. I read Mistborn. I did enjoy Mistborn. Did not love it, but this is said to be better if I just can commit. But I do have like a Mistborn novel that, I'm never going to read this because it's not part of the trilogy. It's one of those 0.01 or 1.5 or anything like that. So this will go with me away from my shelves. Also, here is my Salman Rushdie books, Midnight's Children. Tried reading, didn't understand a thing. Will try again at some point. Also, here is Patrick Rothfuss. Probably will read at some point. I think Ollis by Ingunn Thon will leave me today because just not feeling the vibe. One book I probably should get rid of is Rings of Saturn by W.G. Sebald, because I've read one of his books, did not like it. I do like this cover a lot if you can see it from over there, so that's probably one of the reasons why I'm not getting rid of it. How many books do I have now? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It was difficult to see it. It looks like I have 9. I just need one more book. Found another bookmark that is a generic bookmark from a store, so that's always nice to get rid of. As I talked about in my last video, here is my collection of Jon Kalman Stefansson books, which are getting not prioritized, which feels wrong, but we'll do something about it. Since these shelves are beneath my staircase, there is constantly vacuuming in this area. I don't mind, but would I wish that things were different? Yes. I'm actually going to go back to the place where I stood before because I think I have a book that I should get rid of. 2 seconds. So this was a lot more difficult than I thought it would be, and I guess my thoughts now, what does my gut feeling tell me about these books and which books I should get rid of and not? And it's almost impossible to decide. I think maybe I'll go for this Ton of French one, because it was recommended, I think, through the Book Reviewer podcast at some point. Well, it's not the first book in the series, it's the 4th one. It's also crime fiction. Even though I like crime fiction, I just tend to enjoy it more on television. At least that's why I'm trying to tell myself. But now, let's try and look. So, I guess these are the books I'm getting rid of. This is quite a heavy stack of books, and that feels great. It feels like it's going to be easier for me now to, going forward, maybe read more of the books I have. Maybe I now know more of, because sometimes you forget which books you own and not, and this might make an opportunity for me to fall in love with my unread books again. It has to be a reason why I picked them up in the first place, so I'm hoping that that's the case and that more of them will be read. I did feel like this made me more focused on which books I own and do not own. It also makes me realize that I should get rid of Brandon Sanderson if I'm not going to read him, but I'll keep him around for a new year. It feels good having more control over which books I own and not. And now I'm actually going to count the books I own so I know how many books I've left in my collection unread. And that could be a pinpoint. Maybe should have a goal of getting under 100 books that I haven't read. I think that's a sensible goal, maybe. Depends on how many books I have now that I haven't read. If you have suggestions for other videos you would like to see me make, please comment below. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you later. Bye!